No one really knows what's happening in San Francisco, but this is where it's at. Traditional home of the way out, today Mecca of happy hippies who are cracking the smooth silhouette of America's materialism with that ultimate weapon, with love.
The main problem in life is the problem of communication between you and I, and the love that potentially we have for each other. The beatnik thing was against something. It was against the establishment. It was against the way of life, you know. The hippie thing is for something. We're not against anything. We just want the freedom to be ourselves, and that's for love, for experience, positive way of life. We don't say that you're wrong. We just want to be free to be what we want to be, or what we find ourselves to be, as we continue to search ourselves.
Haight-Ashbury, a crumbling corner of San Francisco, is where the action is. This is where the hippies began their march towards flower power and the quiet revolution. A significant part of the American landscape today, and a rallying point for the new and irreverent way of life of those who preach the dropout gospel. A community of beautiful people, or perhaps a dark carnival. In hippie colonies around the world, thousands of young people are joining this far-out pursuit of happiness. So, as the square world begins to adopt hippie fashions, let's take a thoughtful look at the love generation in full flower, walking off the joy and pain of being young and poor in the richest place in the world, amid a conforming society that distrusts the different. Where the living's easy, the job's waiting, hippies turn on, tune in and drop out to show distaste for a bland culture which seems to offer no ideal beyond that of acquisition. Everyone's competing, they say, nobody's living. They return, like Red Indians, to a tribal group with its own mini-hippies, receiving ambassadors from older, less bizarre cultures. Hippie philosophy is hostile to hard drugs like heroin, but based on psychedelic drugs which provide instant mysticism, like LSD, peyote, marijuana. They swallow these mind-expanding drugs illegally, while the coachfuls of tourists who daily come to stare at them stay legally hooked on booze, cigarettes and tranquilizers. Hippies have a clear vision of the ideal community. Everyone turned on and beautiful and loving and floating free. They work a little, beg a little, and though as rebels they may be parasitic, they're earnest and peaceful, sometimes utterly peaceful. In Hashbury's street fair atmosphere, thousands of youngsters relish a love-seeking, free-swinging, acid-based society, while their leaders prepare for the arrival in this hippie capital of the migrant love generation eager to turn on.
The Haight-Ashbury community has created the Council for a Summer of Love in San Francisco. Within the Haight-Ashbury population, there are many strata of imaginative and creative energies whose spirit extends throughout San Francisco and the world. The people here today represent some of the manifestations of the Haight-Ashbury spirit and healthy activity. They have decided to participate in the Council for a Summer of Love.
We call upon the world to help us celebrate the infinite holiness of life. We ask all who come here to come here in love, and we ask all who live here to greet all men with love. The Council is calling for creative love happenings for every weekend throughout the summer. We are calling upon the forces of love, not of hate. We affirm life, love, peace, and self-discovery. The Summer of Love celebrates these values.
Might these love happenings still include blocking traffic in the streets?
Well, we hope to get Haight Street blocked off by the police legally on Saturday and Sunday.
Streets are for people. The machines run down the street with the people in them, and like there are 2 or 3 people in each machine. And there are lots and lots of people on the sidewalks. They're all jammed up, and it's uncomfortable. And the people should be in the streets, walking down the streets, because there's a lot of room in the streets. They can be comfortable. The machines should be off the streets.
Well, are you trying to put the pressure on?
No, I love automobiles. We don't want to tear the machine down. We just want to correct its insanity factor. The
Loving the establishment to death instead of trying to blow it up is the hippies' choice of weapons, their way of correcting that insanity factor. Each weekend, amid soft Californian sunshine and an air of holy poverty, Haight-Ashbury sees an artistic, spontaneous, unstructured love happening.
There are people in this community who are rediscovering for themselves the natural creative energies of their being. They are painting, they are making original crafts, they are creating social environments in which to live. Yet there are also many articulate people in the Haight-Ashbury. Writers, poets, scientists. People are dropping out of the American brooded machine by the thousands every day. People in this community are practicing what people have spoken about for centuries, and it threatens to overthrow the rest of the American establishment, which is built upon the motives of greed, anger, lust, and self-interest. People in the Haight-Ashbury are not greedy for money. They are not angry at each other. They are seeking no scapegoats, political or actual. They are not lusting for more women or better women or more men or better men. They are seekers. They are seekers of a more meaningful human experience.
A hippie, to me, is an individual in life who has lost, who has become my brother, a descent. They are descended against the structure of society.
What's the point in going around dirty? Do these